Hello, Math 13, and welcome to Chapter 8 review. So I made this little video to help you out because hypothesis testing is very important. We're going to be doing this for the rest of the semester. Also, we're going to be separating the data, which we're going to be doing for the rest of the semester. So it's a good idea to make sure you've got all this down. So this one is test the claim that the high school GPAs have a mean of 3.0. So that means right here would be the claim that the mean equals 3.0, and then fill in the H1 and H sub O. And if you're not sure about hypothesis testing, right below where I put the link to this video, there's a link for hypothesis testing about the mean, and then also testing claims about the proportion, which is the second page of this review. So mostly on this one, I'm going to be talking about the data and just sketching the outline of hypothesis testing. You could use those other two videos for details about the hypothesis testing. So this is about their high school GPA. So if you look at the last page of this review, here's their high school GPAs. So I would type all of these and make sure you put the whole list in list 1, and then their college GPAs in list 2. So once you have these in list 1, then you can start answering this question: how many people, what's their average high school GPA, and what's the standard deviation? And then you draw the normal distribution and find the critical values. And like I said, the details of this are on that other video about testing claims about the mean. And then you can use the t-test on the calculator in order to get the test statistic. So the second question is almost exactly the same, except this is about their college GPAs. So then you would just use list 2, the college GPAs. And when I said use the t-test, so you can go to stat, test, go to the t-test, and when you get to this part, you would just tell it, use the data. The claim is that the mean is a 3.0, and then just tell it which list to use. So for number 1, you'd be using list 1. For number 2, you'd be using list 2. And then this part should say not equals, so that it's a two-tailed test. All right, that's the basics for number 1 and number 2. Then on to number 3. So this is about proportions, and the claim is that the proportion, or the majority, is over 50%. And so from the first one, you would know what the n is, so that would be the number of people, so you already know that. And then for this x, you need to count. Go and count how many people have at least a 3.0 in high school. So at least a 3.0 in high school. So you would just go through and count how many people have at least a 3.0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So you count how many people, and then that's what goes right here. And then the claim would go here, and then finish up the H1 and H sub O. And then of course there is the normal distribution, and then look up the critical value. And on the calculator, you can use the one proportion z-test. So when you go to stat and then test, number 5 is the one proportion z-test. And then this would be the number that's in the claim, the 0.50. And then however many people you counted would go right here. And then the number of people, total number of people, goes right there. And then this one is pointing to the right, so this actually should point to the right as well. And then calculate. And then number 4 is almost exactly the same, except now it's saying that they have at least a 3.0 in college. So then you would go back to the data and then just count how many have at least a 3.0 in college. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And then count those up, and then that's going to be this X. All right, now on to the last page, and this one is extremely important because this is the type of thing we're going to be doing for the rest of the semester also, and that's separating the data. So first of all, I say separate this into 2 groups, and when you do, it's good to have a highlighter. Those whose high school GPA is under a 3.5. I haven't even read the rest of the question. I just know that I have to separate them into 2 groups. So I'm going to make those people purple if their high school GPA is under a 3.5. So high school GPA under 3.5. So for example, under 3.5 would be this person. Now, when I go to read the rest of the question, it's actually going to ask about this number right here, their college GPA. So when I highlight this person, then highlight them all the way across. So that person in high school had a GPA under 3.5. And then the next one, and under 3.5. So sometimes I have to say it to myself each time so I remember under 3.5. And under 3.5. So as I highlight, I'm not even looking at these numbers right now. I'm just concentrating on this, making sure this one is under 3.5. And then the next one, and the next one, under 3.5. And this one's under 3.5, and this one's under 3.5. And then this one is bigger than 3.5. Okay, that's the highlighting part. Now go back to the question. So test the claim that the mean GPA is 3.0. So that's going to be the claim that mu equals 3.0. For those with under 3.5 GPA in high school, well, that's just saying only look at the purple highlighted people and then put their college GPA into a list. So this one is about how are they doing in college if they happen to be one of the purple people. So if you look at the purple people, you would then need to put their college GPA into list 1. So these check marks, those are the scores that go into list 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. So that means N is going to be 10 people. And then you put those 10 college GPAs into the list, and then you could find the mean and standard deviation. And then the claim is that the mean GPA is 3.0. So this is going to say mu equals 3.0. And then you do the normal distribution, you look up the critical values, and then you would do the t-test and use list 1 because that's now where those 10 college GPAs are. And then finally, for the last one, so this was talking about for those where their GPA is 3.5 or bigger in high school. So in other words, if you look at all the ones that are not highlighted, then these are going to go in list 2. So this one, and this one, and this one, this one. So for the last question, it's going to use these GPAs, which you could put in list 2. And make sure you get all of them. And then once you put these GPAs in list 2, then you can just use the t-test and then use list 2. So like I said, if you are not completely familiar with the hypothesis testing procedure, then please look at the 2 videos that I made. The links are right below where you found this one.